In our previous class, we have started that chapter financial statement of companies. In that lecture, we have seen what is the meaning of financial statement, what are the financial statement in case of a company that we have discussed can be 5. Statement of profit and loss, balance sheet or statement of affairs, explanatory notes, cash flow statement, and one last one is the statement of change in equity. From these 5 we need to study only 3, that is balance sheet, profit and loss, and cash flow statement. Cash flow statement we will study in next chapter. In this chapter we will see balance sheet and PL. But for PL, no question will be asked in exam. Question will be asked only related to balance sheet. So we will see format and will understand the points of balance sheet as well as PL. But we will solve question of balance sheet only. Okay. In today's class, we will see the balance sheet of a company, that what are the information that are recorded in the balance sheet of a company, and the explanation of those particular items. We have already discussed in our last class that balance sheet of a company is prepared in vertical form. Vertical form means first we will write all the liabilities, then total of liability, then all the assets, then total of assets, and then we can like match the total of liability with the total of assets. Okay. And in case of a company, if we talk about the format, so format is we prepare 2 columns for amount. That is one for current year amount and one for previous year amount, right? Previous year amount is only for comparison purpose only, so that investor, management, or anyone else who is interested in the financials of a company, they can compare the information like what was the situation of loaning last year and this year, what is the situation of investment, share capital, and other things. Right. Okay. So that previous year information is only for comparison purpose only. Okay. We will record those things which is given to us. Right. And for other columns, if we talk, so this column will be for note number, that is also known as notes to account. Okay. And this is the main outcome. Okay. Here, firstly, we will write all the liabilities, but in case of a company, the name of this side is not only liability, but that is equity and liability. Right? In case of partnership and sole proprietorship, the left side of balance sheet is known as only liability. But in case of a company, that side is known as equity and liability. On the liability side, we record capital and external liability. We have understood accounting question in class 11. That asset of any business will always be equal to the liability plus capital. Liability means external liability. So on the liability side, we record capital as well as the outside liabilities. Okay. So here this equity word refers to the capital part of that liability side, and this liability refers to the outside liability. No confusion. So first we will write all the capitals and all the outside liability, long term as well as short term liability. Then we will do what? We will total the amount. Okay. Then we will start assets and we will write all the assets. Then we will total assets also. And then we can compare the total of asset with total of liability. Like one thing. Second thing, what is the use of this note number, sir? We have understood this column, this and this one. Then what about note number? So we have already seen in share capital also, like there can be some information which we are recording in either equity, liability, or in asset, which needs some explanation. Like for example, in your business there can be hundreds and thousands of people whom you are selling on credit. So technically we can say that there can be hundreds of debtors in our business. Debtors are asset of the business, so you need to write debtors on the asset side. But is it possible to write the 100 people's name on the asset side? So where we will write other information of asset? Right? So what we will do? We will write, of course, all the debtors, but not here. We will prepare a list. Okay? That list is known as notes to account. So in that list, we have given note number 1. and we have given a heading as debtor, and here we will write the name of all the debtor and their respective amount. Okay, then we will total that what is the total debtor, and this total we will write on the asset side by writing the word debtor only or debtors and the amount of debtors. And here we will write that note number, that reference number, that if you want to know that how we got this total debtor, you can refer this note number 1. There you can see the name of all the debtors who are in our business. But that was only one thing. There could be other items as well which need explanation. Like one we have understood in that chapter, issue of share, like share capital. Here we will write the paid up capital. But we need to show authorize, issue, subscribe, called up and other things. So those we prepare in notes to account. Same way reserve and surplus also. There could be many reserves, capital reserve, general reserve. We have studied 2 in partnership also, like workman compensation and investment fluctuation reserve. So there can be so many reserves. So we'll do what? We'll write only reserve, the amount of total reserve, and then we can put a note number. You can refer that note number to see all the reserves in our business. So I hope this note number is clear to you, right? Okay, so this is the total format. So I hope this format is clear to you. Now we have to understand all the information one by one. Okay, now see one thing. On equity and liability side, there are 4 major heads. Okay, same way on asset side, there are 2 major heads. What is the major head on the asset side? First one is non-current asset, then second one is current asset. Major head you can say is the main like head in which we will write some other information. Like here on the asset side we have written the first major head is non-current asset, and in this major head non-current asset we will write some subheads. Like first one is fixed asset. So in, let's suppose non-current asset is our major head and current asset is also our major head. So in that non-current asset we will write the first subhead as, let's suppose, fixed asset. Right? We have written fixed asset. This is our subhead. In this subhead also there can be many information. In our business there can be so many fixed assets, right? Building, plant, machinery and other things. So what you will do, you have written the major head. In that major head you have written the subhead fixed asset. And here you will write note number, let's suppose 5. So anyone can refer note number 5 and they can see all the fixed assets of our business. Right? So we can conclude on the basis of this that in balance sheet there are firstly 2 sides, or you can say 2 main heads. What are main heads? Equity and liabilities first main head, assets is second main head, right? In main head there are some major heads, right? So on equity and liability side there are 4 major heads. First one is shareholder fund, second one share application money pending allotment, third major head non-current liability, and fourth major head current liability. And on the asset side we are having 2 major heads. First one non-current asset and second major head is current asset. No doubt in every major head there are some subheads, and it is not necessary that there should be subhead, but there can be. Like in case of non-current asset there are, I guess, 5 subhead, and on the current asset we are having 6 subhead. Same way on the equity liability side we are having 4 major head. The first major head is shareholder fund. In that shareholder fund there are 3 subheads: share capital, reserve and surplus, and money received against shareholder. Right? So what is the thing? Firstly we are having 2 main head, then each main head there are some major head, and in major head there are some subheads. Subhead are the main information where we need to write the data. Okay, so we need to, now what we have to do, we need to understand each subhead one by one. In exam 2 type of question can be asked. First one, you have some information is given and you need to prepare a balance sheet. One thing. Second thing, some particular points will be given like security premium reserve, like debtors, like stock, like inventory, like cash, some information will be given, and it is asked to you in the exam that classify these information as per their major head and subhead. That is, what will be the major head and subhead will be of cash. This is clear to you? No confusion, na? Okay. So let's understand all the subheads one by one. So firstly, let's talk about equity and liability side. So on the equity and liability side, there are four major heads. First major head is known as shareholders fund. Now we have written the main head name as equity and liability, right? So that equity word refers to this major head, that is shareholder fund. So in a way you can say that sir, equity means shareholder fund. And what shareholder fund means? Sir, all the money which belongs to the owner of the company, right? No confusion. And in this shareholder fund there are three subheads. First subhead is share capital, second one is reserve and surplus, and third one is money received against share warrant. Right? No confusion. All these three information belongs to shareholder fund. So in a way we can say that sir, all the reserve and surplus are of owners only. Remember, in partnership, if we were having any general reserve or profit and loss balance, we were distributing that general reserve between old partner, old ratio. Got this thing now? So these things belongs to the owner, that is shareholder fund. So equity does not mean equity share. If we are using the word equity only, not equity shares. So equity means total shareholder fund. In equity there is equity share capital, there is preference share capital, there is all the reserves also. So equity is a broader word, right? Equity means shareholder fund, sir, and in shareholder fund there are all the money belonging to the owner, and these are three. First subhead is share capital. That we have already understood in the issue of share capital, that in share capital we record equity share capital and preference share capital. No confusion, no? And for that we prepare notes to account that I hope you are knowing, we have already done that in issue of share capital. No confusion. Now, what the thing that you need to remember with share capital, that's what are the information that are recorded in this subhead. So can you tell me what are the things which belongs to this subhead share capital? Equity share capital and preference share capital. These two, right? There are two things more. One, calls in area. Last one, share for future account. These four information are recorded in a way in share capital. When we prepare notes to account, there we will show equity share capital, preference share capital. And if we are having any calls in area, that will be shown as a deduction from their respective share capital. Right? And if we are having any share for future account balance, that will also be shown in the balance sheet presentation of that share capital notes to account. Right? So, if it is asked to you in the exam that what will be the major head or subhead of calls in area or share for future, remember the major head will be what? Shareholder fund, and subhead will be share capital. No confusion. So I hope this first subhead is clear to you. Then what are the things which we will classify in share capital? Now the next subhead we are having is reserve and surplus. So in reserve and surplus you will classify all your reserve. It doesn't matter whether that reserve is a revenue reserve or a capital reserve, like general reserve, workman compensation reserve, investment fluctuation reserve, dividend equalization reserve, debenture redemption reserve, DRR, okay, as well as security premium reserve. Any information which are ending with the word reserve will be categorized here. So all the reserves plus, that is for R1. R means all the reserve. Reserve and surplus, that thing is na? So firstly we will classify all the reserves. Then what this surplus means? Surplus means balance of profit and loss. Like if you remember in case of admission and retirement in partnership, sometimes on the liability side and sometimes on the asset side, we have given like profit and loss account balance. So if it is written on the liability side, that is profit in profit and loss account. And if we are having profit and loss account written on the asset side, that is loss of profit and loss account, and that is accumulated profit or accumulated loss which is not distributed between the owners. Same way, in case of a company, if you have any balance in profit and loss account, you will also show that in reserve and surplus. Now in case of partnership, if we were having any profit in PL, we are writing on the liability side, and if we were having any loss in PL, we were writing on that asset side. But in case of a company, it doesn't matter whether you are having a profit in PL or loss in PL, that will be recorded always on the liability side. If you are having a profit, that will be shown as a positive information, but if you are having a loss, that will be shown as a negative information. Right? So let's suppose we have written reserve and surplus, we have written note number 2. Then we prepared notes to account of reserve and surplus, and here we have written like general reserve, capital reserve, debenture redemption reserve, security premium reserve, all that. Right? And if we are having profit and loss, then surplus or balance in profit and loss. So that you can write like, if that is profit, you can write 20,000. Let's suppose if that is loss, you will write what? In brackets. Right? And now when you will total it, you will get some value that you can write in the main balance sheet. Now the next subhead is money received against share warrant. Now what is share warrant? See, you wanted to buy the share of some company. You are very influenced with that company. Now there are two ways to buy. We have already discussed in issue of share chapter, whether you can buy from stock market or you can buy from the company directly. From stock market you can buy any time, but from the company you can buy only at the time of issue by company. That will be either IPO or FPO, that we have already discussed, right? IPO and FPO. So at the time of, if company is bringing any IPO or FPO, then you can buy the share from the company. But let's suppose company don't want to bring any IPO or FPO. In that case, what you will do? You will wait whenever company is going to bring any FPO. But you are not sure that if the company will bring any issue, you will get that share of the company or not. Because that company is so popular that its share will be subscribed instantly. So you want some justification. So you said that, sir, you said to the company that I will give you some advance, and whenever you will issue share, as I have already given you advance, firstly give shares to me, then give share to public. That company agreed on it, that okay, you can give me some advance, and whenever at future date if we will issue share, we will give you the shares. So that money which is given to the company in this kind of situation is known as share warrants. And whenever company will bring any IPO or FPO, company will convert that share warrant into shares. Now you are assured that as I am having some share warrant, I will get the shares. No confusion. So if company received any money because of that, that will be recorded here in money received against share warrant. No confusion. So I hope the first major head of equity and liability side, that is shareholder fund, is clear to you. No confusion. Now let's move to the second major head of equity and liability side, and that is share application money pending allotment. Firstly, company will receive application money. If company wanted to issue any share, company will do what? Company will firstly invite public, then company will receive application money. Right? Company receive the application money. Now company is going to make the allotment. But let's suppose before making the allotment 31st March scheme. So company needs to prepare balance sheet, right? Now the point is share is not actually allotted. So company cannot assume that and write that thing into share capital. Because actually share is not allotted, right? So if share is not allotted, company cannot record that thing in share capital. But we have already received some application money. So where we should record that? Because that is a transaction and it should be shown in balance sheet. So company said as actually no share is allotted now, we cannot write that into share capital, but we will make another word like share application money pending allotment. There we will show all the application money which is received, but in consideration of that no share is actually allotted. Then company will prepare it balance sheet. In next year, when company will make the allotment, at the end of that next year, company will transfer that share application money pending allotment to share capital. Right? Now there are two major heads left on the equity and liability side. Third one which is non-current liability and fourth one which is current liability. In this non-current liability, company record four subheads. In non-current liability, we are having four subheads. The first subhead is known as long-term borrowing. In the long-term borrowing, company will classify all the money which company received as a loan or as a borrowing, and which are repayable only after 1 year. No confusion, no? Like bank loan, like debentures. Debentures are also a kind of loan. Like there is one term, public deposit. There are two terms. One is public deposit, one is fixed deposit. Fixed deposit is your saving. Like you have opened a saving account, the same way we open a fixed deposit account. But public deposit is very different thing. The way you are issuing debentures to public, same way we issue a public deposit certificate. Normally government companies issue that thing. So government company printed a certificate and named that thing as public deposit certificate. Okay, and anyone who want to make investment in that government security, they can buy those certificate and they can receive some interest on that. So that is a kind of loan for the company, right? So public deposit will also be classified in that subhead long-term borrowing. No confusion. Mainly we need to remember only three things. All the bank loans. If it is not mentioned in the question, that is long-term or short-term, that is long-term. All the bank loans, all the debentures, as well as public deposit. Now the second subhead in that non-current liability is deferred tax liability. Now what is deferred tax liability? See, every business, every person, they need to pay tax on the income. So company also need to pay tax on the profit earned. So there are two things. See, what profit we earn is known as accounting profit. Whatever our profit and loss account explains us, that is our accounting profit. There is one more thing that is known as taxable income. Profit we can say also this is our income. So we are having two things. One is accounting income, other one is taxable income. Now what is taxable income? Taxable income means income on which tax will be calculated. Thing here is taxable income can be different than accounting profit or accounting income. See, how you got the profit? You deducted all the expenses from your sales, right? So in a way, can we say that expenses reduce our profit? Or in other way we can say that because of expenses our tax liability will be less. Because of expense we will be having less profit. So less profit means less tax, more profit means more tax. So we can say expenses save our taxes. So income tax department says that this way people will show more expenses and they will show less accounting profit. So there will be less tax we will receive. So they said we will decide till what extent you can deduct depreciation. Till what extent you can show any particular expense as an expense. Otherwise you will show more expense, there will be less profit, we will get less tax. Then we said this way sir, our accounting data will not show the exact situation, exact financial performance. So they said don't worry, you prepare your accounting the way you are preparing. That thing will tell you your accounting profit. Then you can do what? You can prepare another statement where you will write expenses as per our provision that we have explained in Income Tax Act 1961. Following those rules, those provisions, you can show the expenses accordingly, and then whatever income you will get, that will be taxable income, and on that income we will charge tax. Now the point here is in India taxes are paid in advance. So if you are a businessman and you did what? You paid tax on as a estimated tax of your last year income. At the end of year, you have seen that our taxable income was less. So that means it can be possible that sometime you pay more taxes and sometime you paid less tax. It can be possible or not? If we are paying taxes in advance, that means at the end of the year when we will finally find our taxable income after doing the business, there could be possibility like the tax we paid is less than our actual tax liability, or it can be possible that we paid more but our tax liability is less. So if you paid less but your liability is more, so that difference is known as deferred tax liability. And let's suppose you paid more and the final tax liability is less, that is known as deferred tax asset, will be classified in non-current asset. Third subhead is long-term provisions. In long-term provision, we record all the provision which will be used at least after 1 year, like provision for provident fund of employees. Getting this thing? Okay, so if you are making any provision and that provision will be used only after 1 year, all those provisions will be classified under long-term provisions. And there is one last subhead on that non-current liability major head, and that is other long-term liability or other non-current liability. And in other non-current liability, we classify all those long-term liability which have not been classified in the first three subhead. Means any kind of liability which is not loan, which is not provision, which is not a deferred tax liability, but still that will be payable after 12 months. So if there can be chances that there could be something. So that thing will be recorded in other. So these are the major head and subhead till non-current liability. In our next class, we will see the subheads of current liability and all the major head and subhead information of the asset side.